Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a deep clean of my microwave, oven, and stovetop, and then also underneath / behind my oven. I had these big goals and aspirations to do a deep clean of my whole kitchen, and I didn't have the time this week nor the energy, and so I decided, you know what, I'm not going to kill myself over doing it. We all have those weeks, and so I'm going to take you through a deep clean of my oven. And as you can see right here, it is disgusting. It so needs it. I did this baking soda treatment on some really tough spots in here, and then I just went a little bit overboard, and so I'm going to need to get that nice and cleaned up. And then the microwave's not bad. I cover pretty much everything I put in here, so I don't really have too many splatters, but there's definitely some sticky spots that we are going to tackle as we get into it. When I'm deep cleaning, I like to use a hot warm rag to go in before I use my cleaning spray. I just feel like it helps start with a nice, clean, non-sticky surface so that your desanitizing spray can actually do its job, and then there won't be sticky stuff left over. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jamison. I am a mom to 2 kiddos. My son Jax is 10 months old, and my daughter Josie is 4 months and oh my goodness, 2 and about 4 months old. And we are just, cruising right along. I used to be a first grade teacher, but I have turned into a stay-at-home mom, and I am just so happy. Now, that's not to say that days are not hard and challenging, because they absolutely are, but the alternative of going to work and then having to come home with my kiddos, I did that for a little bit with my daughter, and it's not for me. And so I'm so grateful and blessed that I get to stay home with my kiddos and do things that I love with them, and also maintain our house. I get so much joy from cleaning and organizing and baking, and so doing these videos and making them is like a passion and something that I truly enjoy doing. So I'm so excited that I get to film these and have you guys here with me for the ride. As I mentioned earlier, I am doing a big deep clean of my microwave, oven, stovetop, all of that. And so this is not something that I do on a daily or weekly basis, but I tend to do it when I'm noticing, extra fingerprints and some grime on the back of handlebars, and things just aren't looking shiny. And so I decided it was time, it was needed. After my 4th of July Bake With Me video, I was looking back at all of the footage from filming that, and I was like, oh my gosh, this oven is in desperate need. And so I decided we were going to tackle that today. If you're interested, I will link my 4th of July treats video down below. You still have time before the 4th of July to check that out and pick a recipe that you would like to bring to an event that you're going to. I wanted to give you a couple tips though while you're deep cleaning. So my microwave is located above my stove and oven. So I have made the mistake before of cleaning the stovetop and then moving on and spraying things on my microwave, but then the little particles will fall on top of the stovetop. So I like to move top to bottom, and I also like to do the inside of whatever I'm cleaning first and then move on to the outside. I find that I don't have as much overlap on my cleaning supplies falling and getting things that are already clean kind of re-dirty or not as shiny again if I do top to bottom and then inside and then outside. I also use those microfiber cloths. I find that they work better than paper towels, and you know, of course you can wash them, and so they're earth friendly. But I wanted to mention, you have seen me use a blue one and a pink rag, and I use those colors, blue and pink, in my kitchen. And then I also have a set of green and yellow ones, and those are dedicated for the bathroom. And so I just know in my head, those are the ones that stay in the bathroom, these are the ones that stay in the kitchen. And so if they happen to get washed together, I know exactly which ones go where. I also tried to use a blue rag for my all-purpose spray and a pink rag for my Windex glass cleaner. And so I really liked having the different colors because it helps me kind of keep the rag straight. And so I only had 2 colors, so I'm using this stainless steel spray with a separate blue rag. But just having these rags and having a lot on hand really does help kind of like buff out your stainless and just make it look nice and keeps it really, really easy and simple. I just got mine from Walmart. It was this huge pack of, I think 12. You get 3 of each color: blue, pink, green, and yellow. And so if you're interested, I will try and find that link and put it in the description box below. But those are my first 2 tips: clean top to bottom, inside to outside, and have microfiber cloths that are color coded for each section of your house. So to eliminate extra spray on my stainless, I just sprayed the glass cleaner right onto the rag so I can spot clean exactly where I want this glass cleaner to go, and then I won't mess up as much of my stainless. But see here, I just took the rag that I used to buff out my stainless steel and I just wiped around it just to kind of clean up the edges and make it look nice and neat. Before I go in with the stovetop cleaner, I am wiping off all the crumbs and getting it as clean as I can before, and then I'm going to buff it out with this stovetop cleaner. So it might seem like a no-brainer to you, but it was not a no-brainer to me. So I want to mention it to anyone who might be like me. But when you're like buffing out and wiping up cleaners like that, it's always good to go in small little circles too. It helps to make it shiny and not just to go side to side. So you'll see that I was kind of wiping up and down and side to side, but now I'm going through and doing small little circles to make it extra shiny. This little handheld vacuum came in handy for sure during this project. I would have had to go through a bunch of rags, a bunch of different cleaning supplies just to get out the extra like crumbs. And so the vacuum just allowed me to suck all the extra stuff up so that I was able to like get to the root of the problem and clean things up. This is also great when you have kids who's throwing food on the floor because it's like a wet and dry vac. Now I will say you definitely have to wash it out if you suck up something wet. We had like wet fruity pebbles that was sucked up one time, and let me tell you, it was an issue. So just keep that in mind. If you get something like this and suck up something wet, you definitely want to empty it right away. So just like with the microwave, I am wiping down the inside of this oven with a hot rag and getting up all the extra food crumbs and grime that I can get up with a wet rag before I go in with my cleaning solution. My first attempt to clean this oven is with a magic eraser, and I'll be honest, it did not do much. So I'll show you kind of like an after picture of the magic eraser, and it's gross. Like, it picked things up, but it didn't make a huge difference when you're actually looking at the oven. And so I try something a little different later on this night, and I absolutely loved it. So you'll see here shortly what I used that worked well. Did you guess it? It's the Dawn Power Wash Spray. I swear this thing is like honestly gold and my secret weapon. You can use it on anything. It's definitely not just for washing dishes. I have been so impressed every time I use it when I am washing dishes to get really tough spots off of my dishes and things that I bake with and cook with. And so I had the thought when I was washing dishes this night, I was like, okay, the magic eraser didn't work. It was kind of a flop. Let's see if I can spray some of this power wash spray on and see if it picks and like eats at things. Look how good it did. It was honestly, obviously it's not perfect. It's an oven and I cook in it, so it's not gonna be clean all the time, but I think it did so good for I sprayed it on one time and I went over it with a sponge, and it like did so good. So I did that at night. I went back and did it. So now this is going back to during the day. While my kids are napping, I pulled out the oven and I started to get to work. Halfway through this, my daughter woke up, and you'll see her in a little bit in these clips, and so she was helping. But I pulled this out and I'm going to start with, again, a hot rag and getting off the big pieces before I go in and clean the side of the oven. I don't have footage of it, but I do also clean the wall behind the oven and the sides of the cabinets that are covered by the oven when I slide it back inside. It's always amazing to me the amount of dust and crumbs and treasures, aka kids' toys, that get pushed under the oven. It's honestly incredible. Especially with that drawer there, you'd think it would stop more. But I was pleasantly surprised that we only had one toy under it. This time we just had a lid to one of their play kitchen pots under here. But I do pull this out, I wouldn't say like frequently, but I do pull it out and clean under it. So that might be why I didn't have extra toys. I'm pretty sure there was 3 or 4 items the last time I pulled it out. So happy to get this cleaned up. It always just feels so good when you're cleaning up an extra dirty space, and it's so satisfying to see the beginning and the end result. So this mopping part might be a little bit extra, but I figured if I'm going through the effort to slide the oven out, I am going to make sure I am doing everything to the tip-top level, and so that's why I wanted to mop this up. So this white powdery stuff is more of that baking soda solution that I had used the last time I cleaned the inside of my oven. And like I said, it worked great at eating at the really tough baked in like spots in my oven, but clearly I had some user error and I used too much because it was like falling out of the door of my oven and getting in this drawer multiple times, and I have even wiped it up a bunch of times, and so it was just like in the crack of the door, and so I'm really glad I got that cleaned up. So it will eliminate some of that spillage into this drawer, and then this drawer will stay nice and clean, which means our pans and different things will also stay nice and clean. So here's my little Miss Josie girl, and I just randomly had the thought to give her this spray bottle full of water, which I keep in the kitchen because you see her hair, so I have to spray it down every morning. And I told her, why don't you go clean your kitchen? And she actually did it. Now, like 98% of the time when I give her a suggestion, she tells me no. So I was so glad this worked. I was able to get some cleaning done. And so pro tip, if you've got a toddler, might as well give them a spray bottle and teach them how to use it. Now, I will say she did spray herself in the face, so natural consequences, but she learned quickly and figured it out. So the kids are in bed now, and I am just doing kind of the cosmetic cleaning parts. I've cleaned really everything and sanitized and disinfected it now. Now this is the fun part where you just get to buff up the stainless and make it shine. I don't know if you've all had the same experience, but when I use my stainless cleaner and I spray it on the oven or dishwasher or even like my freezer and fridge, it makes the floor around it insanely slippery. And so what I'm doing is I'm just taking the mop now and I am going just around the area that I cleaned, because I am just trying to eliminate the slipperiness that happens when I spray that stainless cleaner. Yes, I would like to do the entire kitchen, but this was at night and I wanted to hang out and relax with my husband, and so that took priority tonight. Well, that is it for my oven and microwave deep clean video. I hope you really enjoyed it. I hope that I gave you motivation to get something done, even if it's just small. And I hope that you give yourself permission to just tackle what you can handle, because this is all that I could handle this week. I hope to see you in my next video next Sunday. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, consider subscribing. I would so greatly appreciate it, and I hope to see you again next week. Bye.